उसको सीरियल दे देना, बिकॉज अभी खाना तो खाएगी नहीं।
हुआ इसका देना जरा।
So what we have done yesterday is we introduced pre-validations into our program. We had introduced pre-validation. Where is it? We had introduced pre-validation. Few of the fields we pre-validated. We checked whether they are correct or not against the entries in existing database table or whatever you feel is the way it has to be pre-validated. Okay, so pre-validation will let me know whether a record is having correct data or not, so that I should go ahead and post it or I should not post it can be made, can be decided, okay, make a choice. So based on the pre-validation, all the error records are moved into the IT error file and the IT error log internal table, so that we can download this data from these two internal tables. That is the reason why I am moving them into these two internal tables. Now the next task is post-processing errors. So pre-validation was pretty straightforward. How do you handle post-processing? That is, after the processing is over, whatever errors occur, how do we handle them? So in the case of session method, we will not do anything in the program because the session is not executed in the program. It is executed separately when you go to the session transaction and then select the session and process. And the session has its own log maintenance techniques and it will maintain all the error information in the log. So we can handle post-processing for call transaction and BAPI method. These are two methods for which we can manage the error handling techniques or post-processing technique. So in the case of call transaction, how do I do it? The first thing. In the case of call transaction, how do I handle errors? So if you look carefully at the call transaction syntax, there is an addition in the syntax called messages into. When the transaction is processed, whatever messages are generated, you can capture those messages and put it into an internal table. So SAP has provided a standard structure SAP has provided a standard structure called BDC MSG call. BDC MSG call. Okay, using this standard structure BDC MSG call, you can capture which is the T code, which is the message type, which is the message ID, message number, all the information about the message will come into this BDC MSG call. So I can say messages into an internal table IT BDC MSG call. Let me define the internal table. Okay. So I will get all the messages into IT BDC MSG call. As the messages come in here, I say perform all transaction messages using IT BDC directly will take changing IT underscore E5 and IT underscore E log and some flag was there, LV underscore. At this point we don't need the flag, we just have to, because at this point if an error has occurred means it is an error, that's it, story over. Oh yeah, one thing we have to pass. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to read through ITBDC MSG all into W underscore BDC MSG LL with the key, there is a field message type. Message type is equal to E, right? We have to try to search for error messages in the MSG call. If there are error messages, it's a clear indication that the transaction has gone wrong. Sub RC is equal to 0. If there are error messages, then we need to capture the message. Now unfortunately in the BDC MSG call, the message will come basically as message number and the text. So we have to build the message. Okay. Right. It will not directly give you the long text of the message. See, there is no field which will give you the message in itself. Bits and pieces of the messages will come into individual fields. So we have to club them together to form the message. Go to SE37. By the time the function module comes, you can do something better. So in the case of call transaction, what we are doing, we will read the ID BDC MSG call and then build the message. So why we are building the message is basically to populate that. Now we had that field, ELB underscore message, and populate that message. So we will do this. I don't need this condition because anyhow you have reached here because of an error. Of this condition. Okay, so if size of RC is equal to 0, we then concatenate feed this all these things into this file. Okay, so message ID is, let us take a message ID and check whether it really gives anything else. Yes, what is the transaction for messages? SE93, yeah. 91 slash n SE91. So if suppose I take a message class 8i. Okay, so let us take this message 002. So I say message ID is 8i, message number is 002, and message type I want to enter a status message, some placeholder. Okay, so message will come up like this. MSG text, no additional vendor customer for place 1, please maintain place 2. No additional vendor customer for place 1. Perfect, let us correct. So we can make use of this. And make use of this particular function module to build our message. Right underscore message. MSG ID is in W underscore BDC MSG CULL hyphen MSG ID. MSG ID. W underscore BDC MSG CULL hyphen message number MSG NR. Message type W underscore BDC MSG hyphen MSG TYP. We pass first two message numbers, that's enough. That's where most of the messages will be. W underscore BDC MSG CULL hyphen MSG V1. Okay. MES SG is a structure type message. So let us declare a local variable in the program to hold it. Data LV underscore MSG type. Pass it over here. Okay. Once that is done, when we are populating the message, error message here, it's a structure into which field is our MSG text, some field over there, right? What are the fields of the structure called message? Have some field called had a field called MSGTX. This was the field in which the message text is actually coming, 200 characters. Copy this field and error log will actually come from here. That's it. Okay, are you getting it what we are doing? We are checking BDC MSG call. Their message type is error. If it is error, I use the function module write message to build up the message so that the message is available. Once that is done, I will concatenate the individual fields of the structure to form the error file, and I will concatenate the material number and the message to form the error log. And that is it. Okay, this is in the case we are handling the error for call transaction method. If suppose we are handling the error for the BAPI method. BAPI method is easier actually. Where is the BAPI method? So in the case of the BAPI method, the biggest advantage that we have is the return structure. Okay, everything comes up into your return structure. So that is the advantage we are having. So if return -type is success, do this. Else if type is equal to error. And if it's an error, then okay, so if it is an error, what we will do? Perform BAPI error process using T_WA_ at changing IT_E file and IT_E log, right? There we need to use this return also. Now. So LV_RET. We will pass the return structure also so that you can read the error message from that. Return is defined from a structure called BAPI RET2. Type TT_5. Type TT_5. So this BAPI RET2 has a field called message something. There's one field there. There it is, message, 220 characters. So you don't have to waste your time building the message and all. Neatly it will come. That's the advantage of using the return structure and the BAPI and all. The message will come pretty neatly. You can just use it all. Okay, so if we are here, we know that we are having error. So we will directly copy paste this part of the code. Copy. The messages will come from P_LV_RET-messages. Alright, the rest of the things will remain the same. Okay. Okay. So we have handled the error messages. Now the next part that the program needs is what? All the errors will come into error file and error log file. Wonderful. Now we have to download it. Right? We had taken the error file path from the user. Okay. Getting the file path from the user, we have taken. We need to download it. How do we download? So let's introduce end of selection. End of selection, I will check if it_e file is not initial. That's an indication that there are error records. If the error internal table is having fields, it's an indication that there are error records. Perform download error files. Download error files. Okay, so p_e path is having the name of the directory where the file should be downloaded. Always remember, we should never accept the download file name from the user. We will define the name of the file. Okay, don't take the file name from the user. Just take the file path where you want to download it. So data. Okay. So how do we build the file name? File names are generally built by concatenating the date and timestamp with some name. So material error file, date and timestamp. So that way it will always be a unique file. So when multiple error files are generated as you keep processing, new files will be created. Files will not get overwritten. So I will say concatenate lv underscore concatenate mat underscore e file underscore sign data minus sign use it and dot txt into lv underscore f. So that's the name of the file. Now first time I click. So that's the name of the file. Now now we have to concatenate this file name to the file path. So concatenate p underscore e path and lv underscore f name into lv underscore f name separated by separated by backslash, right? Path slash file name is what we should have. So I have built the file name. Now we should do the done. So concatenate the path and the file name, and once the file name is built, what is it that we have to do? We have to now download. Download will again depend upon the radio button that you have selected. If, oh, I don't even remember the names of the radio buttons. For application server and presentation. Okay, if RB underscore PRE. If RB underscore PR, if it is presentation server, is not initial. I'll say if it is presentation server, what we have to do? We have to say GUI underscore download. GUI underscore download. Get the name of the file, lv underscore fname, and the internal table where the data is, it underscore e file. Okay, this is the first task. After that, clear lv underscore fname. Remove e file and put e log. There is an error log. E log. So here only we will introduce the else part for else if rb underscore app is not initial. So if we are downloading it into the application server, where is the syntax? Where is that? Open data set. Open data set for output, right? Open data set for output in text mode encoding default. So you are opening the data set. Okay, open dataset lv underscore fname for output in text mode encoding default. So if size apache is equal to 0, now what we have to do? We have to transfer the data into the file. So open dataset, where is the file? The file is in notepad it underscore e file wa underscore e file. end loop. Loop an IT file into w underscore e file and end loop it. Now, how do you move the data? Transfer data set, right? Transfer lv underscore f name to no. Transfer. What is syntax for transfer? Transfer to data set should be transfer the work area to the data set. See, transfer data object to data set. So it should be transfer w underscore file. What is u file? W underscore file hyphen field to lv underscore f name. So when the loop is over, all the records will be transferred. Then we can say close dataset lv underscore f name. Makes sense? The download part makes sense, right? We are concatenating the file name, building up the file name using the SciDatem and SciUseIt. Basically, we are getting the date and time stamp onto the file name. Okay, and then using GI download or open data set for output or whatever method we are using, we are downloading the error file and the error log file. Activate. So now let us run it and see. Hope it runs. Where is our material? These are existing materials. Yesterday we saw error coming. So I will take new materials 62, 63. Incorrect industry sector I will keep, and invalid unit of measure we will take, so that we can see the post-processing errors. Okay, one will come out in pre-validation, one should come out in post-processing. Run the transaction in no screen. So we'll run the call transaction method first time. IT file 2 records, IT mat 2 records. It starts off pre-validation. So out of the 2 records, 1 record will get captured in the pre-validation. One will come into pre-validation. Second will not come in the pre-validation. So what went wrong? In the invalid industry sector went wrong. Okay, so now build BDC record, it tries to build BDC record. Now call transaction will go for a toss, it should at least, because the unit of measure is incorrect, some junk we have here. ITBDC MSG call as one record. Okay, error is there. Shit, message type is success. And this is one challenge you will face with call transaction. We'll change size of RC value and allow the message to be written. Let us see what is the message that is getting built. Oops. BDC, MSG, NR, and the other thing is having a typo. But why it came as success message? Nonsense it is. Or I think we have tracked it incorrectly. No, it's not. Okay, what is this crap shit? Okay, now I got it. That is the reason why it went for a dump. MSG number went for a toss now. Let us take local variables data LB underscore MSG NO type psi MSG. MSG. Okay. Maybe we take a chance. MSG type also may. Okay, so okay, it was still giving us a success message. That's the tragedy that we are having. So this is one challenge you will always face with call transaction. Call transaction, so message type has come as success. God knows what it has meant. Let's force the SAISABARC to become 0 and see what is the message that it created. Table T, so as to see, it was an error. Does not contain an entry for 0, some junk that we have written. Some crap message has come. Anyway, whatever was the thing, we run it. Now the file should get downloaded. Where is the file? Ooh, shit, we made a mistake. We did not give the download path, right? Give the download path, then only it will download to that location. You see this number of SAISABARC, 1001. Okay, you hardly come across such SAISABARC numbers. These numbers come when you are doing BDC recording. Sorry, when you are running call transaction, the system will set SAISABARCs like this. 1001, 1002, 1004 is an error. Okay, these kind of numbers you will come across. SAISABARCs, interesting numbers, right? So it's a typical interview question. What kind of numbers come up on SAISABARC during recording method? Okay, so you never think that such a number would come, 1001, 1004, but it does occur. See here. So file 1 and file 2, so this is my error file. Both the records have got moved into the error file. Perfect. The error log file, first one is the message and second one some junk message, whatever the system has thrown, has come. Okay, let us process the same data into a BAPI and see the kind of messages that I'll just execute. We just have to see the error. Oh, it actually posted the material. See, the unit of measure is not defined to check your entry. This is the error message that was thrown. I don't know, call transaction got some junk message, which is not at all meaningful. That's the message that came back. Okay, that might have happened because that is one problem or challenge you will face with call transaction. What happens is, when a transaction is running, you are doing a call transaction. When we are doing a call transaction and on a particular screen input, the DynPro field has some wrong value or some input which is not matching. Sometimes what happens, the DynPro or the screen level, there will be some error thrown, like what we saw. Some check table entry error was there. Okay, in table 1000 something is not present, something. It's a check table entry. It's not the error thrown by the processing of the transaction. It was a screen level error that was thrown and the entry is incorrect. These kind of things can happen. Okay, so So even from an error handling perspective, BAPIs are always far better than call transaction. Okay. So when you compare call transaction with BAPI, it is always better. Another challenge you will face with call transaction, generally why we avoid call transaction method is, call transaction method is completely screen dependent, and the screens of SAP are configurable. That means today when you look at MM01, unit of measure is a mandatory field, but I can configure MM01 to have few more fields which are mandatory. Whenever a material is created, compulsorily transportation group should be given, compulsorily material group should be maintained. So we can actually do this kind of thing. We can control the screen and define which fields are mandatory, which fields are optional, and all these kind of things can be done. Okay, so that is the reason why we always insist to go for BAPI method. And BAPIs are not possible, BAPI is not available or something like that, we decide to go in for the call transaction method or some session. Session is also again transaction dependent. So basically the BDC method. Okay, that's the idea. So what we have done today is we have defined a program which has all functionalities that are needed for a data migration program, whether it's a conversion or an interface. All the features that are needed is available. Okay, so it's capable of handling all scenarios, different situations. Okay, this scenario may not be there in a program. Okay, we will not write one program with multiple methods. We'll pick any one method, but presentation, application, error file, okay, transaction mode or session, and these are common things that you will try to keep in your conversion program, okay, so that the user has maximum flexibility while running the program. Sometimes what are this giving the mode on the selection screen is very important. It looks very dumb. Why mode and all on the selection screen? But it is very, very handy. Why? What happens is, in the dev environment, your debugging is all perfect. You can change values in debug mode, like I did. I changed the value of size of RC in the debug mode. That's possible. In real-time environment, in the quality system, when you are running the program, you cannot change values. You will not be authorized to change values in debug mode. So suppose I have written the program in such a way that the call transaction is called in background, but in the debug or due to some reason I want to run it in foreground and see how it is running. In the debug I cannot change the mode. In the selection screen, if I have not given an input, how you cannot do anything. You'll again have to come back to the dev system, make changes in the program to access from variable or access from parameter screen, and then again transport it. So just for one variable, you have to transport to the development. Once again, a new request gets created, all those kind of nonsense. So that is the reason why the mode of calling the call transaction is always given on the selection screen. So by default, it is no screen. But if you want, you can always run it by error screen or all screens, so that you can see what is happening. Sometimes it goes wrong. So you have to figure out what is going wrong, at which screen it is going wrong. We saw the error messages in BDC MSG call. It was coming, some crap was coming. The message makes no meaning or no sense unless you now don't run the transaction. You'll not be able to figure out what was that message. Some table entry not found 0, something interesting. Okay, so it's very important to have those things. So what we have done till now is we have achieved the data migration using programming. We have written end-to-end programs and did the data migration activity using different methods. It is BDC or it is BAPI or in BDC call transaction or session or all these options that we have used. In our next session, what we will do is we will opt for something different. We will go in for what do you say? We'll go in for something called as LSMW. LSMW is basically a tool provided by SAP to do exactly what we have done now, data migration, without writing any program. Without any programming involved, LSNW allows us to build up the tool which can migrate the data from a file into SQL. Okay, so we look at how this tool works, what are the key elements of this tool, and all those functionalities of the tool. Okay. Okay, so are we clear? Okay, make sure that you are copying this program.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Super.
Yeah. So try to replicate this program. Replicate this program by running some other transaction. Don't run MM01. Okay. MM01, you will have a answer here. So try to create a customer or create a vendor or something else. Try to do something else. Okay, initially it will be a challenge as to how do I create a customer. Okay, Google it, or if you have people who know functionally some things, you can interact with your friends or on the functional side, get the data. Just Google XD03, XD01, XD01, different vendors, customers, master data. Don't go for transactional data. Master data, try to record it. Then try to do the recording, see how it is posted, compare it with Bapi. So that way you will get a feel of how these things work. Okay. If you run again Material Master MM01, you will always try to use this base program and work with it. Use this only as a reference and try to post some other master data. There are so many other master data, customer, vendor, GL account, so many master data are there. Some master data. Okay.